it. I'm just saying that stuff is tough to stay at home plate.
Any discussions on capital projects?
I think probably the most important thing that Justin said is, we are through our 5-year plan with this project that's out there. The hangars have been done, the taxiways are done, property's been purchased, all of those things were planned and put on the table and got started 5 years ago, essentially. What this group needs to do now is make, like you say, a list for another 5-year plan and get that organized and get it prioritized, and then start looking for some funding that we can get capital improvements both from the cities and, like Joe said, if we can stay in the golden boy slot, we'll get whatever we get from the state too.
Yeah.
And realistically, that 5-year process that we'll sit down with the engineers and talk, that happens in early spring. That's only 8 meetings away. When you think about it like that, that's where this conversation, I think, it's a good time to start that. And speaking of completing our 5-year projects, I forgot to mention, when they repaint the runway, we are going to reclaim that 200 feet of inline taxiway, and it will be used for calculatable distance for takeoff and be a displaced threshold. So some of our numbers will represent a 5,200 foot runway rather than just a 5,000 foot runway. So that's significant when somebody in large jets calculating their takeoff data.
I think that should be right close to the top of our list, because that is holding us back.
Yeah, well, and that's getting done. That'll be done when they repaint. They've already set it up, yeah. So we're excited, absolutely.
I have a question for Larry. Last time, after the meeting, you brought up, when you be thinking about capital projects to be doing, everything, and I asked you a couple of questions, and I ran out of ideas or even what to ask you. What's your thinking or Edmond's thinking on
I
this?
just think, and we've mentioned it before, you asked, I'll be glad to tell you. I think our idea of the future of this airport in Guthrie's is quite a bit different right now in terms of what the potential of the airport can be. That's what my comments in the minutes said. We continue to be concerned. I think we're in it for a bigger picture than just kind of limping along, if you want to be honest. And we think there's a lot more potential out there that's not being realized. Not new, I've mentioned it before, we've had those discussions before. I still want it, and that's why I wanted it in the minute. So,
Well, you and I both know that Edmond's pockets are a heck of a lot deeper than
I
Guthrie's.
understand that, and I appreciate it.
I'm not trying to sharpshoot you here, but has Edmond got some ideas that they want, say, come up and build some T hangers?
Oh, we're looking at some options.
Okay.
I mean, I don't have anything to present yet, but we're looking at some options. Because I mean, there may be some way to help offset that, frankly, But for us to be in it in terms of a long-term partnership, we see this airport as having to accomplish a lot more than it is, frankly.
Well, that's what I don't understand, I guess, what you're trying to say here. Do you think we need more hangars? We're landing.
No, I think
length.
we've made
We're
some
not gonna
good
get
progress
anywhere.
with the hangars. I just, there's several things that we're going to put together and maybe bring up and have a discussion with you, but we're not ready to have that yet at this point. But we probably will be before too long.
Well, I can't wait to hear.
Oh, yeah?
Jerry and I sat down one day in his office in the bank and going, where's he going with this?
Oh, it
You know,
didn't the first time, guys, we had this discussion.
Yeah, I know. But it's
So,
specifics that I'd like to hear.
now, we understand that, and I think we've been consistent about it, so we're working on some options that maybe everybody will think is a good idea, possibly.
Well, I can't wait to hear.
Good, very good.
Well,
We'll have the discussion.
Along those lines, there are certain things that the government can be involved in, federal and OAC. As I hear what you're saying something over and above.
Yeah, I think there ought to be some potential, some discussion of something above and beyond that.
I'm open for it.
You know, and I don't have it ready yet. We
Well,
don't,
I'm
but-
not, I'm not trying to put. you
No,
on
but
the
I tell you
spot,
what,
but-
we are gonna put together something we think people might be. I think if we think beyond just what we can get matching money.
Well,
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about, so.
okay.
But, you know, we should have something. I mean, it won't be in the next month, but it'll be in the next couple of months.
Are you looking at any airport substance in nearby states or in Oklahoma that's serving as an example, that is doing certain things that you see as a model or a mentor?
Well, I mentioned before, and it's a private airport, so it's a different ballgame, but Sundance is rock and roll. And I mentioned that 3 years ago. There was an article in the newspaper about Sundance, and this is our competition. And at some point, we've got to look at it, I think, in a bigger picture. That's my feeling, so.
Yeah, Sundance has just put in, I think, 20 or 40 new hangars.
Yeah, it's
not-
private opera, I understand.
Yeah.
And, you know, I understand.
And the next item on their agenda is the restaurant.
And they're, I don't know, Dick, you know Sundance better than
Well, I went over to the air show. I wasn't keeping around spying on them.
I didn't bother, did anybody
Actually,
get in the air?
until noon was great, and then everybody that was parked out in the fields, we all got stuck in the mud, so it was a high point and a low point of that air show.
But the air show started about noon.
Yeah, well, their ceiling never got above 600 feet, so they didn't have much fun.
I know, we were supposed to fly Young Eagles that morning.
Yeah,
I didn't,
it was,
we didn't show up.
But it, you know, it's impressive, there are 40 new hangars over there. Man, I mean, I about drove off the road when I looked at that.
Oh,
and seen
that-
that.
And you know, even though they're private, and that's a different, they're still our competition.
Well, there's still our competition, but, let's say he's in a whole different category.
And I'm not
He's-
saying that can
no.
be done, because.
No, he's done a whole lot to, get people involved in that airport. He's give the EAA a hangar, just to get their meetings out there. He's done, well, last, deal we had out there was the navigation challenge. There's only 13 planes involved, but he came in and gave $100 or 100 gallon of fuel.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know any of that.
Well, he did it not only this year, but he also did it the last year. So he's tough competition, I'll put it that way.
Well, yes, it's good.
But there are things, like we discussed before, you know, fuel and hangar rent are the lifeblood of an airport revenue. And we have areas out there, maybe that's a thought process for capital, but, you know, I think everybody's anxious to figure out
Oh, yeah.
possibly, you know, in the future when we can sit down and.
Yeah, and hopefully not too long, we'll
Sure.
be able to have that discussion.
Sure.
Okay, that's the discussion items. Let's go into number 10 is action item. Discussion and consideration and recommendation for the proposed 2016 budget, airport budget.
These are all the same numbers we saw last time. It's just giving people a little bit of extra time to review and do it before we make the recommendation. I know we've given these numbers to Larry, and he probably has it all in his charts and books already, but just in case anybody saw anything that was something that needed to be changed, we kind of have a little bit of wiggle room, but probably not a lot.
Well, you answered my question, 50,000 for the last will be carried
Yeah.
over.
For the moment.
Anybody got any questions on this?
We make a motion to accept it the way it's presented. That won't lock us into moving some money around during
For the most part, everything's pretty much the same. If we have to, end up having to do a budget amendment because of certain needs, there are those avenues. We prefer not to, but there are definitely avenues to do that if need. And then, as I mentioned last time, I'll just say it again for reminding everybody, the revenues in the capital projects may seem low on the dollar side, but that's because OAC is picking up the entire tab and then just asking for their 5% reimbursement, which actually works really well in our favor that we don't have to upfront money for the projects.
Question. If we approve this budget as it's drafted now, it goes to the Guthrie City
That's what
Council and the Edmond City Council or vice person if
they approve it in their overall budget.
Yeah,
It's
really,
not
I think
necessarily-
we've already approved, basically approved.
This is a
Edmonds
draft.
at this
Okay,
point.
well, I make a motion to accept this draft as presented. For the fiscal year 2016.
There we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Guys have it. Item number 11, discussion and consideration of the recommendation for the land lease application for hangars 20B and 20C.
This is an exciting opportunity. Mr. Ron Jewell, as many of you know, he's come before the board before to be able to build hangars, and he's done a fantastic job. And generally has sold those hangars on. He's interested in building 2 more. I think that for this purposes, he's looking to keep them. And they are 55 by 50. The reason of the non-standard squared side is because there is a need for just a little bit wider hangars. And the area that it's in is a 44-foot wingspan limited hangar area. And when you take your 44-foot wingspan and add a 50-foot door, you really have 3 feet on each side. And so he believes in, and I totally concur with him, that there is a definite need for good